Well, the dysfunction in Big D is at an all-time high after multiple reports this weekend cite frustrations over both Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, leaving me wondering if the boys could be looking to trade the star pass rusher. Also, one insider thinks Kellen Moore is going to have to coach Jalen Hurts a little differently this year if the Eagles want a successful offense in 2024, and the Birds are headed to Iowa's Pro Day today to watch one of their favorite draft prospects. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. All right, so over the weekend, there were some Eagles at some major events, including Wrestlemania at the Link last night, which included Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson. You knew they would, in the ring, much to the delight of the pro-Philadelphia crowd. Although, as NBC pointed out, don't worry, Eagle fans, they did speak to Philadelphia about it, and the team was aware of Lane Johnson participating, and they didn't want him to get hurt, and so the video showed he didn't really do much. Kelce handled the physical activities, while Johnson basically held a chair and cheered. Now, of course, Lane Johnson's under contract, and so it was natural that they didn't want him doing any sort of serious physical activities, even if it is WrestleMania. Kelce's retired now. He can have as much fun as he possibly wants. Lane, though, hold the chair, stand there, and make sure you're healthy for 2024. Either way, though, Kelce and Johnson weren't the only Eagles enjoying the fun, as how about this video of Jordan Mailata and Moro Ojomo going nuts when John Cena entered the building. Between Kelce at WrestleMania and this new potential of a Kardashian-style TV show in the making surrounding the Kelces, oh boy, Jason's had a very exciting retirement, although I couldn't help but enjoy this one video of also newly retired Aaron Donald explaining why his least favorite team to play every single year during his Hall of Fame career was Philadelphia because of 62.
I guess I'm wondering, was there one team that always had a good plan?
Philly. I hated playing against Philly. Kelce, his little fast always ran full. He would snap the ball and run over right now. I'm like, bro, you got some good guards. Let them work. You don't got to help them every time. I'm not letting you. We're not gonna let you ruin the game. And I'm like, God, every time I played the Eagles, bro, I really never got no one-on-ones. I probably had one or two during the game, and that would be it. If you don't win any one-on-one that time, then you're done. You're going to get doubled and triple team for the rest of the game.
Meanwhile, 432 miles away at the Women's National Championship game on Sunday afternoon, you saw Iowa, South Carolina, and our QB1 sitting there courtside, taking in the game, and also chatting it up with former Eagles running back Deuce Staley, who was sitting next to him. Hurts has had a pretty busy offseason, as you would expect. He's working on his game, he's making some appearances, he's also working out with his new teammates like Saquon Barkley. Although he hasn't worked out with new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore yet, that'll probably come during next month's OTAs, but NFL insider Brian Baldinger did go on WIP the other day and had a very interesting take on why Kellen Moore has to coach Hurts a little bit differently this offseason in order to get QB1 back to being a top 5 quarterback in 2024.
The big thing really is, how are they going to coach Jalen? Are they going to coach him hard the way he wants to be coached, or are they going to be soft on him? I mean, he needs to be coached hard. He needs to bounce back. He needs it. He knows he needs it. I think, that's got to be part of Kellen's demands as he installs his new offense right now. He looked awfully detached. He didn't look like a leader last year. He looked like he was just in a zone and detached from the team. And when there were things going on the sideline, the quarterback's got to set a lot of those things down. When the team was in a tailspin, I didn't see him doing any electric things to dig that team out. It's on his shoulders. I mean, they paid him the money to be the guy. He's got to, fix some things. And so, look, Brian Johnson wasn't the guy. I think he has a chance to get back, to being an elite quarterback. He's got elite athletic ability. They've surrounded him with talent. They're going to draft an offensive lineman high. I don't know how high, but they're going to draft another one to go with what they've added. He's got to go do his job now. They've helped him out. They've changed the coordinators. They've added pieces. Saquon's a big addition. You can't ask for an organization to support their quarterback any more than they have.
Personally, I don't see how Jalen Hurts doesn't get back to being a top 5 quarterback, at least in the national media's perspective, with Kellen Moore's offense, plus the addition of Saquon Barkley. All the stars are aligning for Hurts to get back to what we saw in 2022, where he was really the MVP of the league had it not been for, of course, Patrick Mahomes and, of course, the Super Bowl loss. Either way, I'm pumped to see what he can do going forward. Kind of like how I'm pumped at the fact that we went from 70% of you guys who watched this show to not be subscribed down to 57% as of yesterday. A lot more work to do. If you haven't subbed yet, hit the red button down below. Now, I think the biggest story of the weekend has to be this report that Cowboys all-world pass rusher and known Eagle fan Micah Parsons ticked off a lot of people in the organization this past year, seemingly hinting at potentially a trade coming if you listen to this one insider at 103.5 The Fan in Dallas.
I have heard from way too many people this offseason. Way too many. I'm talking about at least at least 4 different people that Micah has worn thin there. Now, I don't know how much is true and how much it actually hurts. I don't know whether this is the behavior of a typical superstar. I don't know how damaging it is, but all I do know is this. I've heard from way too many people. If Micah Parsons was out of there, there'd be a decent amount of people inside the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco smiling or breathing a sigh of relief.
Now, that's pretty wild, especially due to the fact that it's essentially a contract year for the linebacker out of Penn State. Like, Mike is entering year 4, and every time you get a superstar going into year 4, the team tries to go ahead and get a deal done. That way, superstar can be a little bit cheaper, happier, and obviously with the team for a very, very long term. If this report here from 1035 The Fan, which I'm not super familiar with in terms of who the reporter actually is, he seemingly says he has a lot of insider information, but if Dallas isn't thrilled with Micah, could they try and trade him this offseason to not only get the headache out of their hands, get back a king's ransom because you would get an insane haul, but also save a lot of money, which Dallas desperately needs. I mean, Dallas is already dealing with this Dak Prescott massive cap hit, plus looming possible contract extension. Who knows if that actually gets done next offseason. Oh, and pair that with a new report today that wide receiver CeeDee Lamb will not report to any offseason activities until his rumored $30 million a year contract extension is leaked, which I'm sure Devontae Smith, by the way, is keeping a very close eye on for his own personal reasons. Either way, there's 2 ways to look at what's going on in Dallas right now. One, it's a dumpster fire, and as Eagle fans, as you can tell, we love Dallas being a dumpster fire, and so you can really just sit back and enjoy the fact that they seemingly are just derailing and imploding day after day after day. And 2, genuinely curious about the fact that would you trade Micah Parsons? Now, I don't think they will. I know we're going to see comments saying, Thomas, they would never trade Micah to Philadelphia. I know, I'm not saying that they would, but trading him just out of Dallas in general would be very good news for Philadelphia because Micah's obviously a fantastic, maybe best pass rusher in the league. But if the Eagles offered a king ransom, would Dallas even pick up the phone? Like, out of curiosity, let me just ask you down in the comment section right now. Would you take 2 first-round draft picks plus some mid-picks for Micah Parsons? Would you be willing to give that up for the superstar pass rusher, bring him back to Philadelphia? Let me know what you guys think. Side note, it's worth remembering that even with eating $21.5 million in dead cap this year with the Hassan Reddick trade, the Eagles have signed Saquon Barkley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Huff, White, among others, and they still have $30.6 million in free cap space. Remember that. $30.6 million in free cap space. They still have a lot of money to do basically whatever they want. Again, crazier things have happened. I would put it like a 5% chance Dallas gets rid of one of their superstar players because if you're even a slightly competent organization, you don't just ditch Micah Parsons the second he kind of rubs people the wrong way. But how deep is the rot inside the locker room? Has he lost the locker room? Is he still, widely loved in the locker room? That remains to be seen. But trouble in Big D, and that at least deserves a thumbs up from Eagle fans. Now, it is worth quickly pointing out that there is a long-awaited pro day happening today, and that is Iowa's Pro Day with Cooper DeJean, and Philadelphia will have a pretty sizable contingent at the event to watch someone who a lot of insiders consider to be a real possibility for the Birds if they want to go defense, if they want to go secondary, and stay put at number 22. And as I've said before, DeJean fits a lot of what Philadelphia wants in a draft pick, a secondary player. He has a lot of versatility. He's very mature. He's very athletic and has a knack for the football. Tons of interceptions with the Iowa Hawkeyes. He is coming off of that broken leg. That's why the Pro Day is such a big deal. It's the first time teams are going to get a good look at him after, of course, the major injury. But if he tests well and gives you a good 40 time, a good cone drill, obviously all the different drills they run him through, I could see him shooting up draft boards. And again, being someone Philadelphia absolutely loves at number 22 overall. We got plenty more stuff happening next couple of days and weeks, including the NFL draft, which is less than 3 weeks away. Myself, Josh Davis, we're doing some awesome stuff during the NFL draft, including being live on both of our channels. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you want the latest draft news leading up to night 1, hit that red button. We got plenty more stuff, as I always say. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out on a Monday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.